Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Surah Al-Maa'idah, Ayah number 60. قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِشَرٍّ مِّنْ ذَلِكَ مَثُوبَةً عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَنْ لَعَنَهُ اللَّهُ وَغَضِبَ عَلَيْهِ وَجَعَلَ مِنْهُمْ الْقِرَدَةَ وَالْخَنَازِيرَ وَعَبَدَ الطَّاغُوتَ أُولَئِكَ شَرٌّ مَكَانًا وَأَضَلُّ عَنْ سَوَاءِ السَّبِيلِ. So he says, say, O Muhammad ﷺ, should I not inform you from nabba'a, yunabbi'u, tanbi'atan, to inform, to give news, should I not inform you of that which is worse than that? What he's referring to here is when the Yahud said that there is no deen which is worse than the deen which the Prophet is propagating. And also, shall we inform you of what is worse than you resenting us about our deen? Mathubatan and Allah, as a reward with Allah. Mathubatan from thawab, it is mansub bil fatha because it is a tamyiz. It tells you in which way is this upcoming thing worse. It is worse in terms of reward. That is to say, it is more punishment worthy. Now one might ask, how can something be worse than Islam? Does this not imply that in Islam there is some negativity, but something else has more negativity? The answer is, of course, no, Islam has no negativity. But Allah is giving this answer in accordance with how the Yahud perceive the matter. They perceive the matter as Islam having evil. So Allah says, okay, there is something yet more evil. Okay, so what is this thing which is worse? He says, Man la'anahu Allahu, the one whom Allah curses, meaning banishes from His mercy, wa ghadiba alayhi, and is angry with, and He turned from them into qirada, which is the plural of qird, which means monkey, wal khanazir, plural of khinzir, which means pigs, wa abada taghut, and such is the person who worshipped taghut, meaning false gods. Ibn Abbas says that the people of the Sabbath who fished on the Sabbath day, thus desecrating its sanctity, the youth amongst them were turned into monkeys, and the elderly amongst them were turned into pigs or swine. He says they are worse in rank, meaning such people from the Yahud, they are worse than the Muslims whom the Yahud criticize. Makanan, meaning status, it is mansub al-fatha because it is a tamyiz. Wa adallu, and they are more misguided, an sawa'i sabil, from the straight path. So as for the taghut mentioned, then it could refer to the golden cow that they worshipped. It could just refer to shaitan, whom they obeyed in disobeying Allah Jalla wa Ala. Reflecting on this ayah, we may pick up an effective way of addressing people, which is to ask a question. He says, should I not inform you of that which is worse than that? Because questioning stimulates the listener's thinking. And we find this tactic elsewhere in the Quran as well. قُلْ هَلْ أُنَبِّئُكُمْ عَلَى مَنْ تَنَزَّلُ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Should I not inform you on the ones whom the shayateen descend? And also, قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالَهُ. Say, shall we inform you of those who are more lost in regards to their deeds? So this questioning stimulates the thinking of the listener. We also take that it is vital for us to consider not our status with other people, but rather our status with Allah Jalla wa Ala, because that is ultimately what matters. As He tells us, should I not inform you of that which is worse with regards to reward with Allah, not with the people? We find the pitiful characteristics of the Yahud in that Allah curses them and is angry with them, and such people worship the taghut, and from them there were those who were metamorphosized into monkeys and swine. We can also take that Allah can become angry with some people. This is a sifa fi'liyah, He does it when He wills it. We also take that the Yahud and those of a similar description to them are of the worst status and most misguided from the straight path. Ayah 61. وإذا جاءوكم قالوا آمنا وقد دخلوا بالكفر وهم قد خرجوا به والله أعلم بما كانوا يكتمون. And when they come to you, he's speaking about the munafiqeen here. They say, we believe, آمنا, whilst they have entered upon you with kufr, meaning as kuffar, and when they leave you, they leave as kuffar, meaning their hearts are full of kufr, even if by their tongue they proclaim faith. And he says Allah knows better what they are yaktumun, katama, yaktumu, kitmanan, to conceal. We can say in this context, when he says a'lam is better knowing, it simply means he is knowing, because there is literally no one else who knows what is in the hearts, such that you can give a comparison. So reflecting on this ayah, we find that we need to be careful and take precautions against the munafiqeen, because they are tricky. They are proclaiming faith outwardly, yet inwardly they are kuffar, and Allah Jalla wa Ala warns us against such people. We find that Allah knows what is in the hearts and what you conceal. So in this there is a threat. You're not allowed to conceal evil, as Allah Jalla wa Ala is well aware of it. And so this would include evil intentions. Ayah 62. وَتَرَى كَثِيرًا مِنْهُمْ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ وَأَكْلِهِمْ السُّحْتِ لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. You see many of them, meaning the Yahud, يُسَارِعُونَ, racing to, فِي الْإِثْمِ, racing to sin, and udwan, transgression. So the transgression could be against other people when you violate other people's rights. It could be against Allah as well when you violate the sanctity and the hurumat, the haram aspects of your deen. It has also been said that the ithm means concealing things from the Torah, and the udwan means adding things to the Torah, and Allah knows best. وَأَكْلِهِمُ السُّحْتِ, and consuming the suht. This is haram earnings, such as rishwa or bribery, and also interest. لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, evil it is that they were doing. The lam in front of the bi'sa is interesting. لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. He could have easily just said بِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, and it would make the same sense. However, this lam is the lamul ibtida. It is a lam which begins a sentence. It does not have any particular translation to it. Ayah 63 follows on. لولا ينهاهم الربانيون والأحبار عن قولهم الإثم وأكلهم السحت لبئس ما كانوا يصنعون. Why did the Rabbaniyun and the Ahbar not forbid them, ينهاهم, from their evil speech and consuming suht? Evil indeed is that which they have been performing. So the lawla means why not, but it is said in a negative context so as to rebuke the addressee. They say the Rabbaniyun are the scholars of the Injil and the Ahbar are the scholars of the Torah. It is also said that the Rabbaniyun and Ahbar, all of them are from the Yahud, the scholars and the clergymen from the Yahud, because the whole context is for the Yahud. So the evil speech refers to the lies that they would propagate, and the aklihim as-suht means the haram wealth that they would consume, be it bribery or interest and so on. Now when he says evil indeed is that which they were doing, it is referring to the Rabbaniyun and Ahbar. When they did not forbid the evil, they were actually committing evil. Now notice the two verbs used. In the previous ayah he says لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, and in this ayah he says لَبِئْسَ مَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ. Now there is a subtle difference between the two. In the previous ayah, يَعْمَلُونَ is just a work that you do. It doesn't have to be upon reflection. But as for يَصْنَعُونَ, this also means what they were doing, but it is done after reflection and knowledge. Because the people of knowledge amongst the Yahud, they know exactly what they are doing. They have knowledge, they can reflect on what they're doing. As for the previous ayah, which rebukes the general masses, then they do not have knowledge, and hence they do not reflect too much on what they are doing. As for the Rabbaniyun and Ahbar, if we say they are both from the Yahud, then the Rabbaniyun are people of knowledge who also are in positions of authority, and the Ahbar are people of knowledge but not in a position of authority. They would just be regular scholars who can issue a fatwa. Okay, so picking up some points of benefit on these two ayatan, we notice how the Yahud are so infatuated with sin and transgression. They race to it. And from their characteristics is that they lie, and that they transgress the limits of Allah Jalla wa'ala, and that they consume haram wealth. We also notice that he uses the word akl, which means eating, the suht, the haram wealth. That is because this is the most usual way of consuming your wealth. You purchase food and drink with it. Although if someone were to purchase clothing, then this would be equally haram. We mentioned that suht is so called from sahata, to destroy, because haram wealth destroys the blessing. And perhaps the main lesson to pick up from these two ayatan is that the people of knowledge must absolutely prohibit the evildoers from their evil. They must make known what is haram and what is halal. They are not allowed to keep quiet when evil is being committed in front of them. Otherwise, what is the point in having knowledge in the first place? This knowledge would be an evidence against you, not for you. So any person of knowledge who does not speak out against the evil, then such a person has a resemblance to the scholars of the Yahud. So you need to make sure that you have the courage to enjoin the good and forbid the evil. If you do not have the courage, then make sincere dua to Allah Jalla wa'ala to make you fear Him and not the people. And if your dua is indeed sincere, then you will be filled with courage. And always think of the akhirah, where only Allah Jalla wa'ala is going to be feared and no one else. That is the day you are preparing for. So there is no point in fearing people. But if your sight is set on this world, then yes, you will fear people. So it all depends on your perspective. هذا والله أعلم.